Dustin.
Never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
We talk about it every day.
Getting on baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
There's no human being I'd rather be talking to right now than Andre Ethier.
Oh. Baseball isn't boring. That's a fact. Especially if you watch last night's game, it isn't boring.
Man, I feel like it was yesterday that I was pushing tires in Arizona with you and training with Dustin Pedroia. So I want to talk to you about Dustin. It's way before we're in the World Series. First of all, congratulations on everything that you're doing, that you have done, that you're here at Dodger Stadium in the World Series. You're like one of the foundational members of this organization. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think I do. I take a lot of pride in what you say because, me and the guy I'm throwing out the first pitch with tonight, Matt Kemp, we showed up here in 2006 for an organization that was rebuilding, trying to get its foot and grasp back down into being a perennial playoff contender and a winner in the West Coast. And there was a lot of work to be done. And, we had a lot of growing pains over those years and found ourselves in a lot of NLCSs we didn't win and found ourselves in a World Series that, we didn't win. And, now this team is built itself 20 years later into a perennial winner with, a lot of superstars and a lot of winning expectations on it.
Can I ask you, what is it like to go, sure, you didn't get the ultimate prize, but to go through the run to the late in the playoffs, in the World Series. I just look at this fan base in this area. It's so unique, right? What is it like? Give me a description of what it's like.
It's unbelievable. I agree. New York baseball, Boston baseball. It's unbelievable. I was just back there last week for the Mets series, and the fans of the Mets are unbelievable. Coming off the train 2.5 hours before I rode the train in, everyone's pumped up.
Look at you, mingling with a riff.
Yeah, right. It's a great environment, and I understand the East Coast, some of the East Coast, let's call it biases of the baseball and the old blue bloods of that side. But this Dodger fan base over here. They want it. They love this team. It's generational from the point that it showed up in the '60s, and there's a lot of that's a lot of time that's passed where someone's grandfather, someone's dad, someone's uncle has been able to instill that Dodger love into their family, and you're seeing that here with the way this team is celebrated by this city, and they want that championship. They want to be on the upper echelons of how baseball is looked at.
It feels different. But honestly, Dodgers teams, this one feels a little bit different, just because I don't know. I feel that it's just because it's resilient. Number one, you go through that many injuries, and resiliency goes a long way when you get to this time of year, right?
Well, I think there's expectations, right? The expectations our goal, starting the spring training here and every manager, our goal is to win World Series. Well, that's great expectation. That's great, end-all goal and light it into tunnel type talk to do, but it's expected here. And when you have all guys buying in and expecting that, and knowing that there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be a bunch of speed bumps along the way, and you find a way to do it. That's what this team's done, I think, and that's what I think you're seeing is there's no excuse. Whether someone gets hurt, next guy up, we have enough to keep going. We have stars, we have the players, and we're going to find a way to do it.
By the way, the owner of this podcast, who owns the LLC, is a member of the Dodgers, Joe Kelly. He has a mural up on level 7 here.
Yes.
How is Andre Ethier? Let's go.
I got a beer.
No, you got a beer.
I got a beer in here.
Okay.
I got a beer in here.
First of all, what is it called?
Walk-Off Blonde. Andre Ethier's Walk-Off Blonde. So they a local beer company called the Tarantula Brewing Company.
Okay.
I teamed up with them, and they wanted to come up with a cool beer that they were going to get put into place. So one of their guys had a good idea from a couple of those years ago, I was hitting all those walk-offs to come up with a good name.
Yeah.
So we could have named it Walk-Off Blonde. So
right.
it's a pretty sweet little beer, but yes.
As
My guy, Joe Kelly, is my man.
All right, so he has, again, the owner of Baseballs and Boring, but he has a wall. Like, you walk in, it's a 30-foot wall.
Well, he has a couple walls in here.
Yeah, well, he has a wall down the barber
The
shop.
mariachi wall?
Yeah, the mariachi wall. It's 30 foot high. I want an Andre Ethier wall. Like, I feel like, because, and I'm not even like kidding, Andre, is that I feel like there was a reason why you're throwing out the first pitch, because people relate to you.
Yeah.
People remember how good you were. People appreciate what you continue to do. People appreciate the way that you played. I'm building you up right now.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I guess baseball isn't boring, and neither was I guess.
No, man, we'll get the wall for you. Yeah. All right. Well, I told you that I wanted to ask you about Pedroia.
Yeah.
And Pedroia's coming up for the Hall of Fame. I told him I would vote for him, so I'm contractually obligated to vote for him. But I am going to vote for him.
Yeah.
But I think that you have a pretty good perspective and a pretty level-headed perspective. Even though you came up with him, your buddy, and everything else. So how do you view his Hall of Fame candidacy?
I think it's so tough, right? I've had a chance now I think 2 times in the last 3 years to go to the Hall of Fame and have a pretty extensive tour. I've gone there for the Cooperstown games with my kids, 12-year-olds. So I've spent the week there.
Did you see Rich Hill there, like throwing in the field?
I did not see him. I wasn't there that year, but I've been there 2 of the last 3 years with my kids. Josh Rawitch, who was our former head of guy here, and then is now the president of the league, took me last year, private tour, did the whole thing, and you get a different appreciation of the level and the numbers that it takes to get in there and do it. Like the level of players, you're like, well, that guy seems like a Hall of Fame player, but then you go and you start stacking your numbers up against some of those guys in there, and you're like, wait, how wasn't that guy in there? How wasn't that guy in there? How wasn't that guy in there? And I think that's what it is. And I think Dustin has a great resume to get in there, and I hope he gets the votes. My fear is just people judge him against like second basemen, against like middle infielders, and does those numbers and length of numbers stack up?
Well, we mentioned Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent is a guy I voted for 3 years now, and Jeff Kent has always been a tough one for me. I'm not going to say he's not a Hall of Famer, but to your point, is that you're comparing him to other second basemen, and Jeff Kent's at the top of the list, right?
I would assume, right? Yeah, I've done that. Like I pulled up those, obviously Biggio with all the hits, got him in, and what Biggio did with that, and then you start looking at the second basemen that start falling underneath that like standard, and you're like, wait, like Jeff Kent has a MVP, has a batting title, has some stuff that you're like, wait, he snuck up there. He has pretty high slug, a pretty high home runs, doubles. I think his doubles.
Yeah.
His doubles is pretty high. His WAR's pretty high. You're like, wait, how's this guy got in? So, I think there's quite a few second basemen. Dustin, Chase Utley, guys like that are going to be coming up for the Hall of Fame. That, what is that test? Did they leapfrog a guy like Jeff Kent? Did they, do they get by like that over their body of work or shorter? I mean, I don't know what Jeff Kent's playing career was total-wise, years-wise.
You're going to be comparing. That's the hurdle that you have to get over.
I think it kind of is, and I don't know. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but we go back to just judging baseball players, what he's done on the field and what he's contributed that way offensively, defensively to the game.
When you were playing with him in college, did you even think that be honest, did you think that we would even have this conversation about Dustin Pedroia?
No shot ever. But yes, we're having this conversation, and I'm hoping he gets enough votes, stays on it, and there's enough guys that keep pulling for him to do it. And I think just the unfortunate side for Dustin is that his career was probably cut short a little bit at the back end there, injury-wise, and wasn't able to put up those big bulk numbers, and I guess those stacking numbers, right? You want those stacking numbers that look good and give you those 2,500 or plus hits that you might make it look better, or even close to 3,000. I don't know if that was attainable for him or not, but I think those stacking numbers that a lot of those guys, and maybe it's a new generation now that we look at, because lot of guys in our generation didn't get a chance to play 17, 18, 19 years and have that chance to stack those amount of hits out, right? Like most of us are playing 13, 14, 15 years, so we're not going to get a chance to have those extra 5 to 6 years of season numbers back in on the back of our baseball card to do the stare and compare.
Yeah, and I just look at, like, if fair or not, like I want guys who are in the Hall of Fame where I can point to my kids or whoever, other kids, and say, hey,
he played the game the right way.
He played the game the right
100%,
way, right?
100%.
And then, but
and achieved the most out of what he had. And it's so sure, but yes, he achieved and he did everything and he played the game the right way, and was a hell of a clutch player, and was as steady as it got, during the course of his career, and that's what's unbelievable. So yeah, I hope he gets judged on that. But it's a lofty thing with those numbers. I come walking away and it's like Wayne and Garth. I'm not worthy to be walking in these halls with these guys. For me, when you see the level of players that are here.
You've thrown out for a pitches before.
Yes, I have. Yes.
But not in the World Series.
Not in the World Series.
Right,
no, not in
go.
this stage, right?
What do you got? What do
Maybe a sweeper. Maybe a sweeper. Put out
one figure shit kicker.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just a sweeper in the zone. Old Richie Hill pitch. High spin rate. High spin rate. Some people call it an ephus. He just calls it a curveball.
The last thing is that random questions. Black Friday shopping. Are you into it?
Love it.
Oh.
I don't go out, but I do it from the comforts of my home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting there on my couch, banging away on the phone, seeing what I can get. How about you?
Listen, I do what many people have answered: happy wifey, happy lifey.
Yes,
whatever.
right, yeah.
And then Christmas decorations, are you all in?
All in. I mean, beyond all in. I mean, if you came to our house, you'd think it was a showroom for Christmas decorations. My wife is as all in as we're in on Halloween. You should see our Halloween.
Oh, really?
Our Halloween decorations are over the top. So, yes, the two, Halloween and Christmas, is like an absolute showroom show at our house. So much so that I think we might have to grow our storage unit size because it keeps growing.
Oh, man.
So yeah, it's
Let's
a lot.
go.
It's a lot, but we're all in.